Last week I put my Canon EOS R6 Mark II in for a warranty repair after 35 years of using Canon cameras. This is the first time I had ever made a warranty repair request on any product, actually, any Canon product. Canon acknowledged that the warranty repair request was valid, but then they refused to do it. I'm going to explain why in this video, and hopefully it will help you get an even better warranty than Canon offer. Roll the intro. No intro. I'm not that guy. I am that guy. So here's the brief history. Like I said, I've been using Canon cameras for 35 years. Cameras, lenses, accessories. I've been a Canon guy through and through. To this day, I will maintain that Canon product quality is absolutely fantastic, and I love Canon gear. But this recent experience has really made me question Canon customer service. The story is, it's pretty catastrophic really in terms of a customer service experience, and my first experience after 35 years. So let me wind back a bit. My first Canon camera I bought in 1991. It was a Canon EOS 1000. I think I replaced that about 8 years later with the Canon EOS 1000F. This is a film camera. I had no darkroom, so I took this camera on all of my travels. It went to China, it went to Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, over a lot of countries in Asia, and I took some great pictures with it, and that's where I really got hooked on photography. It was my first proper camera, and by that I mean I learned to control the aperture, shutter speed for the conditions, and also ISO by virtue of changing the film. In 2008, I invested, I was late to the party. In 2008, I bought a Canon 450D, which was my first digital camera. And it was mirrored. It was fantastic. You know, it was a real step into the world of creativity in post-production. So the introduction to Lightroom and Photoshop and being able to manipulate my images. The image that really solidified it for me, on my first trip out with my Canon 450D, I took a picture of Beaumaris Pier in North Wales. It's on Anglesey in North Wales, and I edited that very, very heavily, a lot of sepia. It was probably, by modern standards, a really crap job of editing, but I looked at it and I thought, wow, this is incredible, and that's what got me hooked. I used that 450D right the way through till 2017, and I was so addicted to the photography world that I decided I was going to leave the corporate job that I was in, that paid me really good money, and decided to become a professional photographer. So I invested in two Canon 5D Mark IVs, which are mirrored cameras. I bought two EF lenses to start with. There was the 70-200 f2.8 2L lens, and then I bought a 24-70 f2.8L lens as well, and that was for the professional work. And over time, I've added other lenses like a 100mm macro lens. I now have a 200-800mm RF lens. And so I had these two mirrored cameras, and then Canon launched their first ever mirrorless camera, which was the EOS R, which is actually, that's what I'm filming on now, because I don't have my R6 Mark II at the moment. I went to a workshop in Manchester. I tried out the EOS R and I thought it was fantastic. It had at the time face detection and kind of eye detection. It wasn't great, if I'm honest, and it's not great now, so if I'm out of focus, not my fault. And so I bought one. When it came out, I bought one. I was an early adopter and I bought the EOS R. It's now, it's a very old model already. In fact, my 5D Mark IV was actually performing better than the EOS R, but I'm not going to go into that. And I was so hooked on the progression of the Canon camera bodies as they released the R6, the R5, the R1, the R3, the R7, that when they released the R6 Mark II for my business with the enhanced and improved eye detection, that's a game changer for me. So last July, I bought a Canon R6 Mark II, which is fantastic. For my work, it absolutely changed the game. It would mean I could be lazy. Unlike the 5D Mark IV, where you have to roll around the focus points, I could just set it up for eye detection. I shoot mostly people in my professional life, wildlife as well in my hobby, but I could just go into a room, do some documentary style photography. It would detect faces and heads. I didn't need to work that hard to focus. It was a game changer. About 2 months ago, the camera developed a fault. So the fault was that The internal battery wasn't holding a charge, I think, because every time I changed the main battery in the camera, I had to reset the date and time. Now, it's a fault that I lived with for a couple of months, mostly because I had professional work that I needed to do and I couldn't afford to A, send the camera off to Canon for a repair, and B, hire a camera, because I mean, photography is a very price competitive market. So if I hire a camera, I'm eradicating a lot of the profit per job. So I had a gap in my professional diary, and I contacted Canon and I said, I checked the warranty. Canon offer a warranty of 2 years. So I contacted Canon and I said, I have this new camera. It has a fault on it. And I contacted them through their web page. So you put in all the details of the camera, including the serial number. So I put all the details into the website. Canon came back to me and they gave me a whole list of steps to try to resolve the issue, most of which, in fact, all of which I had already tried because I'd been through their knowledge base, in inverted commas, on the website, and I knew that I couldn't resolve it. So I tried all the steps again just to make sure. And then when it didn't work, I went back and said, this hasn't worked. Canon then came back to me and said, fine, this is a valid warranty repair. Here's a postage label, send your camera into us. So I sent the camera into them. And this is where the problems really started with the customer service. So Canon received my camera. I had requested an express repair service, and for that I needed to pay a sum of money over and above the standard warranty repair, which would have taken up to 3 weeks. Canon then said to me, that's fine, we will repair this for you. Then on a Friday evening, they emailed me to say that the camera body that I had, I'm going to read this, bear in mind, I put the serial number into the website before I'd even, at the start of this customer service journey. Please note that upon checking the serial number of your device on our serial checker, the unit flagged up to be a grey import model. This term means that your camera model was manufactured and intended to be sold in a different region outside of the UK or Europe, which is therefore not covered under our UK warranty. Now, they'd already told me that it was a valid warranty repair, but by virtue of the fact that of where I bought it from, where I sourced the camera, and let's say you're on holiday and you buy a camera, let's say you're in Hong Kong and you buy a cheap camera, Canon camera, and it's cheaper than here, you will not get a UK warranty. Now, I didn't know this at the time when I submitted the camera in, obviously, or I wouldn't have wasted my own time or theirs. So that then means they had my camera. They sent me another letter. It's quite a lengthy letter, and you can see this, but they sent me a long letter explaining why the UK warranty wasn't valid. I'm going to be honest, it's a whole bunch of nonsense about charging. Now, I used the charger that came with the R6 Mark II sat in the box. I used the chargers, I used the batteries, but I used the chargers that I had from my EOS R and my 5D Mark IV. But they said, graciously, we can still provide you with a quote if you would like us to repair it. So I thought, needs repairing. I don't really like having to set the date and time when I'm on a, if I'm on a corporate shoot and I've got to change a battery, it just adds a little bit of time drain that I don't really need. They said they would send me a quote. So I said, fine, can you send me a quote for the repair? They then came back to me and said, yeah, we will send you a quote for repair in 10 to 12 days. I can't spare 10 to 12 days. I have paid work that I need the camera back for. So they sent me that on a Friday evening. So the next morning I sent them an email saying, I can't wait that long for the quote because the repair takes 2 to 3 weeks as well. So please, can you return my camera to me and I'll worry about getting it repaired when I have another gap in the diary. So I did that on the Saturday morning. On the Saturday evening, they sent me an email saying, your repair will cost £45 UK. And I thought, well, okay, for the sake of getting it repaired, I sent them an email. No, I didn't send them an email because they said it would take 10 to 12 days to get the camera back. I wanted it back and I'd already told them to send it back. So they sent me the quote saying it's £45. And then within an hour, they sent me an email saying, we're not going to repair your camera. We will return it to you. And that email came to me as I sent them an email saying, please go ahead and do the repair. They'd already been wildly inaccurate on their estimation of when they could get the quote to me because it took a day, not 10 to 12 days. So I phoned them and I said, please don't return my camera to me. Please go ahead and undertake the repair. At £45, I'll just pay for it and then it'll be done. The guy on the phone said, let me see if I can stop your camera being returned to you. He checked and he said, it's fine. Don't worry, Warren. Your camera's been stopped. We will do the repair for you. Can you just confirm you want us to go ahead? So I said, yes, fine. And you also have my email confirming that I want to go ahead. So he said, fine. And we disconnected the call. An hour later, I got a call back from Canon saying, I'm very sorry, Warren. The quote wasn't right. It's not £45. It's going to be £135. And at this point, I was getting really, really hacked off. And I just said, do you know what? Forget it. Just return my camera to me. Now, as part of the email that they sent me, they said you will need to return to where you bought the camera. And this is where the story takes a really good turn, because I bought my camera from a company that I've used numerous times to buy not just camera equipment, but also electronic equipment, called HDEW Cameras. They're a UK-based company. They've been around for 40 plus years, I think. And I started using them about 3 or 4 years ago. I actually bought my wife an iPad for Christmas one year. It arrived the day before Christmas Eve, completely smashed during transit. The courier had absolutely wrecked it. It was unusable. And I contacted HDEW the night before Christmas Eve and said, here's photographs of the condition of the iPad. They had a new replacement iPad delivered to me Christmas Eve, less than 24 hours later. I cannot praise them enough. So I went to HDEW and I checked my invoice. Canon warranty is 2 years. HDEW on Canon equipment offer 3 years. And their repairs are done via Canon authorized repairers. So I should have just gone to them in the first place. I didn't understand the situation with the camera. I knew that the camera was an import because it takes slightly longer to arrive. But HDEW Cameras, particularly Harry and Ian, who I've dealt with, those guys saved my bacon. So the camera arrived back from Canon on Monday morning, and I posted it to HDEW. They sent me a return label, and I've sent it to them, and it's now in for repair. It was in for repair the next day. So that's the story. So the lesson learned here is, if you plan to buy a camera or any camera equipment, or in fact, any electronic equipment from any provider online, even if it's a UK-based one, make sure you have a warranty. The great thing about this process is, particularly with companies like HDEW, if they're offering a 3-year warranty on the equipment, it's a better warranty than Canon, and you can buy at a much, much cheaper rate. For example, I bought my 200 to 800mm lens through another company like HDEW who imported it, and I saved £700 off the retail price of that lens, and that has a warranty. So hopefully my story of my journey with Canon customer service has helped you. Also, if you're buying an import, make sure that you deal with somebody like HDEW who offer a fantastic warranty without any equivocation. They've accepted it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.